Yo, 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 what is up? How is it going? The Milan Forum is officially here. We already have guests. I like this. People already coming in. Let's see. We have Rohit. We have Antonio. Guys, Antonio is our new recruit. Antonio is the transfer market guru. He is the best AC Milan transfer market guru in the history of football. So we are very lucky that we do have Antonio. We have Rohit. We have Nathan. What's up, Nathan? How you doing?
Good, and yourself, Roy?
I'm doing great. I love his shirt, Nathan. Which shirt is that?
Actually, my wife got me this. I can't even tell you where she got it from.
Nice. I like it. Yes. So, guys, this is the Milan Forum. Basically, we're going to maybe do this every Friday. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Where, anybody who wants to jump in, comes in, say whatever they want, talk about Milan. There's always a lot to talk about when it comes to Milan. In any kind of subject you guys want. Anything is good. So let's see. Rohit, are you with us?
Yeah, man, I can hear you.
How you doing, my friend?
I'm fine. How are you guys doing?
Excellent. Rohit, is this your first time joining the live?
Yes, definitely first time.
Nice. Awesome.
I mean, it's 1:30 a.m. in India, so definitely my timeline doesn't fit yours. So since tomorrow's a holiday, I was able to attend.
All right, okay. What's the holiday tomorrow?
I mean, here it's still lockdown for the corona thing.
Oh, right. Got you. You guys are still in heavy lockdown, eh?
Yeah, I mean, weekends we have lockdown.
Oh, wow. Damn. Here in California, they're coming back. The lockdowns are coming back. I think, Nathan, you're in Texas, right? You guys are like, you guys
We've never been locked down.
Yeah, Texas has never been locked down. Texas, land of the free.
It's so ridiculous over here.
What about you, Antonio? Where are you?
I'm in Pennsylvania, just close to Philadelphia. So, we had lockdowns. Like they had good lockdowns in the beginning, but right now it's pretty chill. Like no lockdowns, but there are still some restrictions, but it's nothing too serious. So it's pretty good.
Gotcha. Yeah. We're getting our mask mandates back. So basically, everything kind of opened back here in California, but starting on Saturday, we're getting our mask mandates back. Rohit's left us. Come back, Rohit. You gotta give us the spiel about whatever you want. All right, so let's get started, guys. Let's get the show on the road. Antonio. Give us a topic.
So I have basically all the news for today, all the most important things. We could start off with the 3 signings that are confirmed. That's the biggest news, obviously.
Sorry guys, sorry to interrupt. I just wanted to show my Ibrahimovic signed jersey.
No.
Nice.
This is Rafael Leao. This is Zlatan. This is I saw Bond. This is Alessio, and we have this. We have number 99 also, who I don't want to name. And this is Leao. This is Benasser.
Wow, where did you get this signed?
I got it from Skrill. I won a competition in Skrill.
Oh, nice, man.
Wow,
that's awesome.
I've tried so many of those competitions, but it's pretty hard for one person to win.
I have one signed shirt, and it's not a Milan shirt. I have a Juventus shirt, signed by Del Piero, with little dedica. How do you say dedica in English?
Like a message that he wrote for you? Or?
Yeah, with a little message that he wrote for me. Because I have some friends in Italy that know him, so. Hey, Del Piero, he's still a legend, guys. He's still a legend. Give me a break.
Yeah, I think I showed you already once, but I do like the main sign thing that I have is just like I have this ball that was signed by like almost the whole 2011 2012 Milan team when they came to Philadelphia. So I have that, but that's basically it. Yeah,
dude, that shit will be worth $1 million in a few years.
Yep.
At least to some crazy Milan fan, it will.
Yeah.
What is up, Eastbourne? How you doing, my friend? We got Christian, Nathan, we got Paul. Paul was here last time. All right, guys, let's get going. I just saw Antonio. Yeah, go ahead.
I just saw a comment about Teo, and I wrote that down. It's one of the things I wanted to talk about. But I think we should start with the like 3 confirmed signings, though, right? Like we should talk about our players. So, it was everywhere. You guys saw that Giroud is in Milano, and he did his medicals, and he probably already signed because it's like 10 o'clock in Italy right now, and I don't see any announcement yet. So I'm like 95% sure they're going to announce it tomorrow morning in U.S. time. So he's a dumb player. He's confirmed it on social media. He said goodbye to the Chelsea fans. And yeah, he will be joining us tomorrow, but he will be going back on vacation. And him, Manyan, and Rebic will join the team on July 26th. So that is when we'll see them with the team, because I think they gave the Euro players and probably Copa America players like extra break because they had to finish playing. So
was Manyan part of the French expedition?
He was.
Yes, yeah, he was one of their keepers with Hugo Lloris and Mandanda. They were the 3 keepers, but he never played.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Okay, the next one, which is...
Hold on. Let's stay on that for a little bit. Let's talk about Giroud, I want to talk about Giroud. I want to know what your guys' opinion is on Giroud. Nathan, what do you think?
I'm not too excited. I understand why we got him, but I think we should definitely not wait till January to get a younger and faster forward, because it's not good to have the same type of forward when you're playing. You need to be able to mix it up. So,
yeah. Antonio, what do you think?
Yeah, I guess this is a point I was going to make later, but I can bring this in. So apparently Pioli there's some news that he might want to play 2 strikers and mess around with that. I don't know. I don't think we should be changing our formation that much. But I'm like I said, I'm on the more excited end of like the transfer spectrum here. I do think it's a good transfer. I think I totally agree that we need another young number 9 that can maybe develop behind them and that can be more healthy and that can be ready just to come in if we need certain situations, because I don't want to wait till January for that and just have them both get injured. So I think that he's good for our system. He's good for what Pioli needs, and I think he has quality, and he showed it in the Champions League this year when he played. So I'm excited.
What about you, Rohit? What is your opinion on Giroud?
So Pioli's system, it actually works on a striker which can do a lot of older play. In Italy, they all like to sit back and defend a lot more than what the Premier League or what Bundesliga or what League One does. So we in Italy, when last season when we had Ibrahimovic injured, so we lacked a point of reference in upfront. I've noticed a lot that Donnarumma would hike the ball up to Ibrahimovic, and Ibrahimovic would use his physique to bring the ball down. And you would have Leao and Salamakers run behind him, making those runs. Even Hakan Çalhanoğlu would make runs behind him. So it would scatter the defenders. But once Ibrahimovic, he missed about 50 to 60% of the season. When we didn't have Ibrahimovic, we had Leao or Rebic play as a striker. So when that happened, Pioli had to reset his system, and we did not have this holder play, and we had to depend on creativity from Theo Hernandez a lot. We had to depend on the left wing. We had to depend on Hakan, who is not at all dependable. So that was one point. So Giroud, whenever I see him for Chelsea, he's a point of reference. All of the wingers or all of the midfielders would play the ball into him, and he would use his physique and he would hold up the ball against these very physical defenders who are trying to push him off the ball. And when the defenders are occupied towards him, it creates space for the wingers to run behind the defense, and when he can pass the ball, he has this ability to generate quick passes with his feet. Even though he is not a player who has a lot of speed, he doesn't have a top speed, he doesn't have acceleration, he does not generate pace, but he's able to work for the team and he's able to get the better out of teammates. And at 35, I think he has a lot of experience and his leadership will be useful for the team. So we have brought in a Zlatan region, and I think yesterday Maldini did speak about getting a third striker, and we've been linked to Caio Jorge from Santos. So if he's able to come in, I think he has two good strikers to learn out of.
Yep.
Got you.
We can
Well,
talk
look,
about
guys.
that later.
Yeah, we're going to talk about Kaiser. Guys, for me, honestly, I'm not excited at all about this signing. This signing gives me zero excitement. And I've been hearing that, Giroud is going to be played. Like, I've been hearing some channels say, what happens when Ibrahimovic and Giroud are both fit? Are we going to change our system to play two strikers? Or is Giroud going to be on the bench? Yeah, most likely Giroud is going to be on the bench. He's always on the fucking bench. Wherever he is, he's on the bench. So, that's what we're getting. We're getting a bench player. We're not getting a player we're getting a Band-Aid. That's how I feel about Giroud. Well, I'm not very excited about it. But go ahead.
I just wanted to say, though, I mean, until we have Ibra on our team, we can't get somebody that can, we can't buy. I mean, I don't think it's a good idea to buy like a star striker, because then Ibra's going to be, he's not going to take being on the bench well himself. So I think that it's good in that sense that we have Giroud that's willing to be on the bench, because I think until Ibra retires, then we can reset and invest money in like a really good striker. But for now, I think it's a good signing.
But that's the problem right there. That's the problem. If we continue to hold on to Zlatan, and he came in to get us in the right mindset. So by us not getting a younger forward in last January, we're going to waste almost a year and a half, because we're not getting a young striker this summer. It's not going to happen. Not only that.
You don't think we are?
No, I don't think so. Not only that, if, like we were saying, if both strikers are healthy, we're not switching to a 2-4 system with two big, slow guys. It's not going to work. Yeah, so how is that young striker going to play? He's just going to be on the bench the whole time when both strikers are healthy.
Right.
There's really no development going on for that young striker other than sitting on the bench watching, which is what Colombo and Robot can do that.
I mean, Nathan, think about it. If we have two strikers, one is 39, going on 40, the other one is 35.
But how's he going to play? Because let's say Giroud is the primary striker. If we desperately need a goal, who's going to come in? Zlatan, or let's say someone like Kyle George?
Well,
there's no way. There's no way.
Well,
unless we just go all out attack.
I would disagree, because I think for as long as Ibra's healthy, I think he's shown us that his quality's still there. So unless you want to go and spend 50+ million for like a striker, which Milan probably wouldn't do, then I don't have any problems with keeping Ibra for another year. Eventually we have to get rid of him, but for now, I think he can be our number 9, and then I think Giroud's good enough to come in when he's not healthy. I think there should be better game management for Ibra, though, because he played like every game in the beginning when he was healthy, and we could have afforded to hold him off for at least just the Champions League now this year or something else.
But we're not doubting the quality of Giroud and Zlatan. I'm talking about the young forward that we're supposed to be trying to develop to take over from them. Because Giroud has maybe 2 years. Zlatan has 1 year. If we don't get that young striker to have that same mentality that Giroud and Zlatan have, then we're literally going to be back to square one when we didn't have Zlatan.
I personally think the main impetus behind signing Giroud and before it Mandzukic is finances. We have a huge financial problem. We've been running on losses since 2009. Even when we won the league in 2011, we still made losses, and I think we have around 750 million losses in 7 seasons. So this does not help our FFP calculations. I know FFP is a very dodgy rule and it has a lot of loopholes, but we still have issues with our FFP. So when you're signing a backup to Zlatan for 1 million, I don't think we have much options. I mean, a normal 25-year-old or a 23-year-old striker who is good and who fits our system will cost a minimum of 30-35. And with this pandemic affected economy, I think almost all teams are ready to. I mean, they are trying to negate their losses by inflating the prices of their strikers. If you actually see, we've spent 60 million on this market, but nobody, I mean, Inter or Juventus or Napoli or Lazio have not made a move because they all of them are facing huge losses. I mean, Juventus has been just scheduling meeting after meeting for Locatelli, and I just read that from Romano that Sassuolo have said no to a loan with obligation for Locatelli from Juventus, and they're trying to sell him to Premier League. So I think this finances is a huge part, which has affected our decision in taking Giroud. Otherwise, I'm sure we could have tried for Belotti or Sasak. I don't know how you pronounce his name, Sasak Kalacic of Austria, who seems to fit our system. So I think this is the most important part. We can't spend. And I mean, but if with Giroud we can get 2 to 3 seasons of consistent UCL, which Maldini mentioned in his interview, where he gave 2 to 3 months back. I think we'll have some financial stability to spend. So I think it's a low risk, high product kind of transfer here.
Roy.
You know what? You know what? What you just said, Rohit. I agree with that. I agree with that. The financial aspect of it is not bad. It really isn't. It's a low financially. This is a low risk operation. Technically, guys, this is a shit operation. Antonio, go ahead.
So this reminded me of financial fair play, and I wanted to talk about it a bit because I hear you guys talk about it a lot on the podcast, but sometimes it gets misconstrued where Milan is. And I actually did research on this because I was confused at first because I saw some teams spending like all the money that they spend, like PSG, other teams like that, and then I would see Milan with financial fair play. So I kind of know a bit about that, but just before I do that, I do agree that this is a good, like, obviously financial circumstances are really important with the pandemic and other circumstances. Milan aren't going to spend that much money, but the main reason for that, which I wanted to explain, was because it's more of Milan's owner's position than financial fair play right now. The reason is when we got financial fair play, like we got restricted by UEFA back when Young Hong Lee or whatever, they were the owners of Milan, and they went. The reason why that happened was because they had massive debts that they couldn't pay. They didn't have the money, there was no evidence that they could pay back the money. So UEFA banned us from European competitions. That ended when Elliott bought us. So UEFA has lifted financial fair play on us. So technically, it's not there. The main reason why Milan isn't spending a lot of money like other teams is because Elliott are not the owners that are going to spend massive fees for transfer.
Sorry, Antonio, I
That's
disagree on this.
no, that's fact.
Actually, I actually did. I actually went to UEFA's website and I did a thread on Twitter on what is financial fair play. So financial fair play is a they actually check teams for 3 years, and how it is done is whatever a team earns in a year. So let's say it is 100 million, 100 million. They're allowed to spend 30 million more, around five. Sorry, not 30 million, 5 million more than what they have spent. So if your team is earning 100 million, you're allowed to spend 105 million in a year, And if for example the if for example a team makes a loss, let's say a team's loss is 20 million in a year. If the owner is ready to cover the 20 million loss, they can spend up to 30 million in a transfer market. This 30 million includes wages, dividends paid by the club. Dividends is like a payment that you make for any bonds or any debentures or any shares that your club has. So wages, dividends, and transfer fees. This all of this is included in this 130 they're allowed to spend. So right now our club is being monitored for the year 2019-20, 2020-21, and 2021-22. Last season, we made a loss of 200 million, which is the second highest in Europe. And this season, we are rumored to be having a loss of 100 million, which is a 100 million improvement, but still we are still in the red. Our wage bill is coming up to 150 million. So I think around about our I think we can spend up to 300 and 400 million, and wages has eaten up a good part of that, which is why we are trying to cover up the. I mean, we are trying to reduce our wages, and that has been helped a lot by Donnarumma and Hakan and his. I mean, Donnarumma's brother leaving. I think they've freed up to 18 million in wages. So that is the main reason Elliot cannot spend. So the question is why? How is PSG allowed to spend? AC Milan in a year make 200 million. PSG makes 600 million. And how is that? That is because Qatar owns PSG. Qatar uses the businessmen in their country, and they pour in money as sponsors into the club, because League One does not make huge TV money. League One does not make huge TV money, so they're pouring in money as sponsors. Last season, that is the 1920 season, Milan made 165 million, and PSG made 600 million.
So
They're
that's the
they're
same thing. That's so essentially it's still the same thing as the owners are technically using their own money because they're using
yes,
their business as a sponsor, which means
yes.
Milan to get to a situation like that, we need like real owners with an actual
Uh,
business.
That's what I was trying
but
to get to. But I
yeah,
also I
but
wanted to say I
uh,
agree with most of what you said, but I think it's also important. Like Milan, yes, we have financial problems because of different circumstances, but at the same time, we have out of the teams like out of the biggest teams in Europe, Milan have reduced their depths significantly up to this year. They're like I believe in the Super League, just to use that as like most of the biggest teams in Europe were in there. Milan had like I believe like the top five of those teams, like lowest depths out of them. And then compared to teams like Barcelona, Juventus, and Madrid, for example, those teams have way higher depths, but they're still spending more than Milan because of, like you said, sponsors and other reasons. So I agree with most of what you just said, but there also has to
the
be a
the
change.
main
The
the
ownership
main
is important, I think. And
Yeah, sorry. One of the loopholes in this UEFA's FFP rule is that it does not consider. I mean, it has. I couldn't understand the whole idea of it. It considers only net debt. That is how much, like how much debt a club has minus how much money it has to receive. So it only considers a portion of net debt, which is why teams like Barcelona, even though they were crippled financially all those years back, they were still allowed to spend. So that is one loophole. And Nathan was saying that we need real owners. How many owners are ready to spend like what City and PSG are doing? I mean, even Andre Agnelli, even though he's pouring in money, he's pouring in 100, 200 million every season. Juventus are still making huge losses. They are also on the verge of financial problems. I mean, this is actually not only the problem of an owner. we have huge issues in Italy. I mean, in Italy, the team that won the league, that is Inter Milan, they got prize money and TV money worth what 70 million, and the team which got relegated in English Premier League made 106 million.
Oh,
So you have
real quick in the chat, Ado OTB. I don't know if I said that correctly. He was talking about Atalanta is doing better with almost half the money. So he said the ownership is a waste of the time. But again, I got to stress the difference with Atalanta and AC Milan is the pressure. Atalanta can build their team from scratch because there's no pressure for them to exceed the way that they have been exceeding. Whereas at AC Milan, we're not afforded that type of luxury. That's just not the way it is. Like, look how long it took Atalanta with Gasperini to get to where they are. We changed managers like every 2 years. We don't give them that type of time that Gasperini has had at Atalanta. So it's a whole different pressure type of situation.
Yep. Yeah,
I just want to say
funny-
something about. Sorry, let me just say something about Atalanta. Atalanta's objective every year is to not get relegated.
Right.
Even though they've been top four, their objective has not been reach the top four. The objective continues to be to not get relegated. So you're right, Nathan. The levels of pressure that you have at clubs like Milan, Juventus, Inter are nowhere near what Atalanta does. Because if Atalanta doesn't make the top four or the top six, it's fine. Nobody's going to say anything.
Atalanta is a huge trial and error club. They can buy players. They buy players for 5 million. They buy players for 5 to 7 million, and whoever works, they keep them in their team, and whoever does not work, they throw them out. So Musa Barrow, Andre Petagna, and that Parma striker, Cornelius. Cornelius. They're all evidence of players who doesn't work, who don't work. They're thrown out of. They're kept. They're sold, and whoever works are kept in their system. We cannot have that kind of trial and error here. I mean, we are a serious club.
Yeah.
We have making Champions League qualification is a minimum. After what we have gone through, I mean, if this was what we had, if this kind of season is what we had around 10 to 15 years back, I'm sure the coach would have been sacked because we were having a great team, and I mean, we were always aiming for a Scudetto or a Champions League, but it's different. Like Nathan said, it's different.
Yeah, look, at Milan, you got to get it right every year. There's no room for error. You get it wrong, shit happens. The management goes. Even a player even someone like Maldini, if he gets it wrong, all of us are going to turn on Maldini, no matter how legendary he is. All right, guys, I want to ask you guys one more thing about Giroud, and then I want Antonio to continue. So Vic D earlier asked a very interesting question based on the number that Giroud picked. We, as Milanisti, are very aware that this number is cursed. And anyone that has chosen this number after Inzaghi has literally become a shit player. So what do you guys think? Is 9 the right number for Giroud?
I think you got to earn it.
You got to earn it, right?
Someone has to break the curse, though. So.
Guys, we have another guest. Saif, what's up, my friend? How you doing?
Fine, Roy, and yourself? How are you guys?
Excellent. Saif, once again, joining us. Saif is a regular, actually. He joins us many times. So what do you guys think of this number 9? Do you think it's going to go against him? Is the curse going to be lifted?
Well, I'd feel more confident if Ibra wore it, but because he's Ibra and I don't think anything could stop him. But I don't know. I think he has a chance at being successful. It depends how often he plays. If he has really like Mandzukic, he had his chances. He was old and run down, so whatever. But if Giroud gets a good amount of chances to actually show, I think he should definitely not be a failure because he has quality. I don't know if he's going to score like over 10 goals, and hopefully he does. But I think he has the capacity to do it. It's just about if like the situations work out for him with the depth and everything.
Gotcha. Anybody else?
I wrote something about this today. So I mean, in our club we have two holy numbers, 3 and 6. So the next holy number is 9 because Gunnar Nordahl, Altafini, um, Marco Van Basten, George Weah, and Pippo Inzaghi all wore
Oof.
number 9, and they won all of these trophies, and they broke records. So I don't understand why people think number 9 is cursed. I mean,
Because everyone else
Well,
it
that's worn
this
it is not performed.
Both
Recently.
players
Yeah,
cursed
recently.
it. Both players
I mean,
cursed number 9.
I can. I mean, we signed a lot of mediocre players to wear the number 9. We signed a
Yeah.
lot of mediocre players to surround the number 9. So I don't understand this curse. I mean, tomorrow if we sign Erling Haaland and give him the number 9, and we give him Kylian Mbappe and all those great players who are one of the best in the world, I don't still think the number 9 is cursed. There is no curse.
But you
It's
just brought up
just
a good point. You brought up the players around them. And look, as of right now, who do we have surrounding our center forwards? We do not have, Rebic is world class when Rebic is on fire. We can all agree on that. But we had Hakan. Diaz has to really step up if he's going to be our main attacking mid. And Salamakers, if he just needs to improve his output, but without service, it doesn't matter who it is. Without service, you're not going to have any goals.
One of the players that recently wore number 9, Andre Silva. You saw when the team was not really performing too well. He was on the team. He didn't really he didn't really excel with the number 9, another curse. And now he scored 28 goals in the Bundesliga this year, and he's going to Leipzig. And he already went to Leipzig. I think in that sense, that can show you there might be a sign of a curse, but also it's important to say what Nathan just said. I think about how the team performs. If the team is performing well, you're going to get more chances to score. I think even though we didn't have the best quality attacking players this year, we still created so many chances. Think about all the times we hit the woodwork, and we really just played so well this year. So if we keep improving our offense, then we should keep having chances, and we should just keep seeing positive opportunities to score. So hopefully this will make it. And if we have also a consistent player who's not injured and who gets chances to play, he'll have chances to adapt and actually excel. So we'll see.
So I can't remember who was talking about the financial fair play stuff. So let's say, clearly Milan's not going to be able to go out and spend even 30 mil on a single player. Like, it's just not going to happen right now. So let's say we get first or second place next year, and let's say we at least get to like the round of 16 or something or maybe the quarterfinals of the Champions League. At that point, do we start demanding better players? Because we can't.
Well, I think it will happen.
Can I answer? Can I answer?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, safe. Safe, right? Yeah. The minimum amount you get from participating in the Champions League from UEFA is 50 million, including the TV pool and the prize money in the group stages. Okay, and I think once you make it into the knockout rounds, you can get up to 60 million total. So 60 million will be 60 million plus, let's say we finish second again next season. I think we can make another 60 million. I think we can make better signings. So
Right.
what Maldini said was we need minimum 2 to 3 seasons of Champions League. The I think the main culprit behind all of these issues is Serie A itself, the FIGC. They're not making a move to market the Serie A better. They're not bringing in TV deals, and there is a whole issue called something called as the stadium law in Italy, where owners are not allowed to, without the local council's permission, the owners are not allowed to, modify the stadiums. It's a law which has which has been existing since 100 years, and they're still not ready to take it out. I
So
mean,
here's my
we are
next
a,
question.
yeah.
We could agree that the players this summer, like the how much a player costs due to COVID, like that inflation that we've seen over the years like has gone down a lot. Do you think we might be missing out on improving the squad now and let's say we spend another 90 million now, whereas next year now that fans are all coming back and more money's coming in, those players who might be 30 million that should be in our price range are now going to jump up to 50 million because a player like Vlasic, let's say 2 years ago, if he was performing what he's performing now to be worth 30, would be worth more.
You're spot on. You're spot on. Definitely. Already, CSK, the club that is employing Vlasic, are having a 96 million loss. They are having a huge debt, and they're trying to sell Vlasic to whoever is ready to pay 30 million upfront, while we are offering a 5 million loan plus 20 million obligation if we make the Champions League, is what I read from the good sources. So I mean, if we were able to, let's say for example, if we had made it to the Champions League under Gattuso that season, and maybe even the 1920 season, we could have signed Vlasic by now. We would have had the money. And if and I'm adding to your point, if we had a stadium, our own stadium, we could have had easily made around 100 million last the I mean in this 1920 season. A competitive modern stadium, we could have made a lot more money. But you know, it's still, I mean, there are so many bottlenecks and red tapeism going on in Italy, that there is no scope for a club to grow. Even Juventus, even after having their own stadium, they're having around 200 to 300 million debt, and they're not making enough money, and they
Um,
signed Ronaldo.
yeah, I don't want to continue this for too long because it's like financial conversations that can go on forever. I still
Sorry.
think there's so many different. No, not you. I just wanted to add one last thing. But there's so many different, like you said, bottlenecks that are holding the team. But I still think I understand that there are many other factors, like you said. But I still think that for Milan to start like spending money like one of those major clubs in Europe, we're going to eventually need to change owners. And I think Elliot wants to eventually sell the club for profit. So I mean, I'm pretty sure that's going to happen. I don't think Elliot are ever going to spend like those massive fees that some like the world class players actually cost. So I just don't see that happening.
Yeah,
I
so
agree.
about Giroud, you know how some players they have a reputation in social in media in general. Oh, Giroud's a donkey, he's a shit player. But when you see him playing, when you see his stats, it's actually quite impressive. This guy has played well, scored in the Europa League final. This guy was Chelsea's top scorer in the Champions League. Scored a beautiful goal in the Metropolitano to knock Atletico Madrid out, where he saved Chelsea. He's one of the highest scorers in the French national team. So when he plays, he makes a difference. Also, he came with a cheap price. I don't think his salary is also too much. I'm not sure about that. But honestly, I just think that some Milan fans have very unrealistic expectations. It's like they're still living in 2008 or 2007. We suddenly want all the top players in the world. You gotta understand, we're still suffering from financial fair play. We don't have the same name that we used to have even in 2011 or 2012. Things are different now. Even though we finished above Juventus, if a player has the option to join Juventus or Milan, he will pick Juventus. Let's be honest.
But that's
He
why
would
you go.
rather play
That's
with,
why you go early.
yeah, yeah.
Like when we
He
got
would rather
Mike,
play with.
we took Mike
He,
quickly instead of letting his price increase through a bidding war. Because there's no way we're the only ones that wanted Mike, but we acted so quickly that there was no chance for anyone else. So we don't need to spend 200 million. Like that's not what anyone's saying. We're not going to do that. But I saw someone in the chat said, Maldini could have done a lot with 200 million. You're right. And we brought in players that weren't needed for our system. And we can just spend 90 million and bring in the players that's actually needed.
It's funny to see how like PSG's sporting director, like their job compared to Maldini's, because they just look at any player, they say, "This guy, Hakimi, he's a good right wing back. Let me just pay them 80 million, and we'll take him." So yeah, of course, Maldini has a much harder job. We have to really maximize our spending, and I think with I don't. That's why I like the signings. I think it's interesting also to watch this like perspective, because Milan in the past was different with Berlusconi. We would always just buy all the world class players, but so yeah, I think it's interesting to see looking forward if we keep making champions, like how that will change. So
Antonio, what about those the other two players now that we got, so we can continue?
Right. Okay, so Diaz, that was confirmed, 2-year loan, which is like I was actually really surprised by that, like 2 years, and 20 with around a 22 million option to buy, and Real Madrid have a buyback clause. He should be coming this weekend or like at the beginning of next week. I think actually no, he's already flying out if I heard that correctly. And he will be with us for another 2 years at least. So it's actually a great deal, because I think we're only spending like 3 million or something for these 2 years to have him on loan, and then we have the option to buy. So it's a great deal, because we all wanted to see Diaz again to continue to see how far he improves. So that's really exciting, and I think he should be given number 10. That's what they're saying.
I'm very excited. I'm very excited about Diaz. Diaz is a great signing. You guys saw how strong Spain was in the Euros, right? I think Diaz in 1 year or two, he's going to be a starter in that team. Diaz is a very good operation. So this one I'm very excited about.
He's kind of like a Papu Gomez. I think once he learns the league like Gomez did, I think they'll be very similar. They're like the same size and body weight. I think he just needs to, once he figures it out, because he was only here on loan for a year, and now that he's the main person, I think once he figures it out, like towards the end of the year, like it's either you foul him or he gets away and he gets a good pass. So I think that works.
I also think that I don't know what's about us Milan fans. We're never happy. Like we got Tomori, now we got Diaz. We're gonna get a backup CDM alongside Tonali, which we got. We're maybe gonna get. There's still plenty of time in the transfer window. We're gonna get like a Marcel Sabitzer, a Hakim Ziyech. Who knows? We may even get a young striker. Can you honestly not consider this a good transfer window? How can you
afford those two players?
No,
I'm happy about those players.
Me too. If we sell Leao, there's rumors of saying Leao and Hauge, which I am against. But if we do that, we can get a
wing. We can't sell both.
I
don't know.
To answer your question, I would consider it successful. Like, definitely so far we're doing great things, and there's still plenty of time. But I still think we need a right winger, and then we need some forward signing that has at least one more like attacking signing, either attacking midfielder, right winger, or someone, even like Insigne if that opportunity comes, which is people are talking. We just need something just to elevate our offense a little bit. Then I'd consider it good. Like
honestly, I think that Diaz could start on the right, and if we get a good cam, we can just go with that, in my opinion, because we bought him to be a starter in the future, and he can't be a central attacking midfielder.
Well, he messed up when he was on the right against Cagliari. He really messed up that game.
Here's my thought on Diaz. So, I mean, Antonio mentioned that he didn't understand why it's a 2-year loan. It's for the growth decree. It's a tax exemption that teams get. If a foreign player is in Italy for 2 years, you get a tax exemption, and the tax is always paid by the club. So
I never said I didn't understand. Just to add, I just said that I was surprised that it was a 2-year deal. But
yeah, it's for the tax exemption. The second thing is Diaz is like Nathan mentioned. He's very similar to Gomez. So Papu Gomez is something what people who are a little bit crazy about tactics call as Romodutor. He's what people call as an interpreter of space. So Thomas Muller is the one who started this word. and he's Diaz is someone who's more not position based but rather zonal based. His main job is to find pockets of space in between the defensive lines, and I've seen him do that on many occasions. But what I'm very keen about him is how he's able to shift because of his low center of gravity, because how small he is. He's able to shift lanes very quickly, and because of his quick feet, defenders either have to foul him or they have to let him go. He's able to that's something that Hakan did not was not able to do. Hakan could not take a man on, and Diaz could easily take a man on. He take a man on and he could beat him. But the big problem or the area where I want Diaz to grow is when the opposite team parks the bus. So when you're having 4 to 5 players who are standing crowded in front of the box, you need these kind of players with quick feet, taking their defenders on and beating them, so as to scatter the defenders and create space.
Well,
So
that's why we need a
Diaz,
right winger.
yeah, we need wingers also, definitely. For me, Rebic does not do that. Rebic is not a winger. Rebic is even though he is positioned as a left winger in a 4-2-3-1, but when they are playing with the ball, Rebic pushes up as a second striker, and Theo Hernandez is the one who plays as the left winger for us. And Salamakers, he shifts infield as an attacking midfielder, and Calabria is the one who pushes up as a right winger. So I mean, like Nathan said,
Mm.
we need a right winger because we are extremely lopsided now, and we need someone who can take his man on and, like I said, scatter the defenders. And with Giroud who can engage the centre backs, we will have more presence in the box. And if even if we are spamming crosses into the box, we will actually have somebody to head the ball in. So I think
Well, my
Diaz,
my my right winger is Berardi. Alexander Boyce has been talking about Berardi. That is the guy I would like to see at Milan. Hopefully that can happen. If
I
we get
agree.
Berardi, guys, we're going to go all the way, all the way. We can even win the Scudetto.
Yeah, I agree. That would be my dream signing, just because we need a right winger so badly. I
So
mean,
who's the
like
backup?
reasonable dream signing, we'll say.
Who's y'all's backup signing for right winger? Because Berardi's what, 50 million? And we already
I
said
would-
we can only operate
I
within
would
a 30 million range.
I would say Berardi though. I think we can get him for a bit less than 50 million. I'd say like 40 million, maybe 35 plus bonuses. But
The only negative thing about Berardi is that he's an Inter fan.
That's true.
uh,
Isn't that why we didn't give
technically speaking, Berardi would be the perfect signing for us. He's a creative winger. He can create chances. He drifts inside a lot, and he's able to pick passes. Yeah, he's able to pick through balls. One area of concern for Berardi which I had was that he missed 12 games last season, and Sassuolo as such are not a team that presses a lot like how we do. So
Why
there is
did he
no
miss
not
12 games?
injury
For what?
injury.
Oh, injury. Okay.
But you know what? We have an advantage that Sassuolo doesn't have. Berardi was Sassuolo. Milan, we have multiple people. So for Sassuolo, you got to make sure you take Berardi out. But in Milan, we have more focal points, and that frees up room for people like Berardi.
Yeah, I agree with that. And listen, guys, here Lucas obviously said Roy only likes Berardi because he's Italian. Deep down, he knows that Berardi is Inter Milan level. That is complete BS, Lucas. I like Berardi because he is a beast. Guys, what do you think about this? Tonali would be a better cam than Diaz. I kind of agree with this. I honestly kind of agree with this. I know a lot of people don't think that. But to me, Tonali, you put him in that cam position, you give him the role that Çalhanoğlu was given, he can perform better.
He might not be as shifty, but I think in terms of strength and vision, I think he does. I think he does have it a little bit over Diaz.
I think we have to my first thought is that he's not he's not as much of a forward player, but that's because we haven't really ever seen him play that position. But I mean, I don't know. I feel like it would be risky, but if we're in a situation where we can kind of test him out in that role, it would be I would definitely try it out.
Preseason.
Yeah. And he doesn't. I'm just worried about him contributing to goal scoring because he hasn't really had much of that. So,
but that's because he plays really deep.
Yeah,
I remember when he played at Brescia. The best times you saw him was when he was forced to be creative. When he was caught, when Brescia was attacking and he was maybe in that 10 number, in front of the box where there's a lot of players. He would do a move, do a quick through ball. He would dribble a player, score a goal. I'm looking at these qualities, and I'm thinking, why are coaches not exploiting those qualities? Rather, they're putting him back in front of the defenders just to pass a ball left and right when this player is good when he's under pressure. I think
at Brescia, Tonali was a regista. That's the position that Pirlo played for us when we had that Ancelotti's Christmas tree. The regista, I mean, even though it is in terms of how you have in FIFA, he's the one who's sitting in front of the defense. The regista's role is kind of very different from a normal CDM. So he's the one who he's the one who decides the whole game. Like you said, he puts through balls. He decides which wings you have to attack from. But the problem with the regista is that their defensive work rate won't be as great as what a midfielder needs in a 4-2-3-1. So Tonali's main issue last season was that he didn't have time to adjust. He was playing in a three-man midfield to a two-man midfield. My concern for Tonali playing in an attacking midfield role is that, especially teams in Italy, I have repeated this a lot of times. They like to play more defensive. So when you're playing in the opposition half, you need someone who's able to take the defenders on and beat them. I don't think Tonali is that kind of a player. I prefer Tonali to sit deeper and pull the strings, switch wings, switch play through the wings.
But I'm saying that he can do that. He does have the ability to do that, to find these spaces, to find these through balls. And also, I mean, if obviously Tonali is not going to be used there, but if he were to be used there, then the creativity comes from the Hernandez, the striker, the right winger, and the left winger. That's Hernandez, the two wingers and the striker. That's 4 players. 4 players bringing in the creativity. That's a lot. And then you have Tonali, that is a hybrid defensive midfielder that has these numbers. That's a pretty balanced team.
Roy, in theory, you're correct, but you got to remember, in Pioli's system, everyone is locked into channels. The only real free roaming person we have is probably Kessie. Everyone else is literally just stuck in one zone, in one like longitude and longitude zone, and that is it. They should be moving around, but they literally just stay on one side. Like when Theo overlaps Rebic is still on the left side. He doesn't He doesn't go inward. He doesn't really go forward. He almost drops back in case Theo needs to pass the ball backwards.
Right, but how does this affect Tonali's possible position in the attacking midfield?
Because he's going to have to learn how far back to drop and how far to get up forward. Because
I think he can do that.
Oh yeah, because if he doesn't, he'll be just like Hakan, just kind of like stranded, running around like crazy, but not being, positive in any way.
Yeah, I think he can do that, guys. I honestly do. My personal opinion, then we'll move on, if anybody wants to add on to it, is that Tonali is not being used the right way. He is an attacking midfielder with good defensive ability. He's like a Pessina kind of attacking midfielder. All right.
No ways, man. Pessina is not even half of what Locatelli is. Pessina is not as talented as Locatelli is.
You mean
Locatelli is
Tonali? Or
Tonali.
Sorry.
yeah.
Tonali is 50 times more talented than what Pessina is.
I
50
definitely think
times.
he's more talented. Yeah, I don't know if they're the same. I would also disagree that I don't think they're like the same sort of position. I think Tonali, his best position is when you're playing like a three-man midfield and he's like not as defensive. But I wouldn't say he's a pure number 10. I think he's more middle of the park with like he needs more freedom, which is what I like when Nathan said that under Pioli's system, everyone is kind of in their own zones except for Kessie, and that's probably what's hurting Tonali is that he doesn't have the freedom to play what he's comfortable with.
Yeah.
So yeah, I kind of agree with that. And also, I mean, just because if we're imagining like a situation where we're playing against a team that's parking the bus, and let's say like we have them pushed back into the box and we're just moving the ball around, waiting to either whip in a cross or something, I would feel more comfortable with Tonali on the outside of the box picking out passes than him being like a number 10 in the middle of everything with a bunch of players swarming him. I think he's better if he has the space because he can deliver good crosses. So I don't know. I think he's more of like a person you can pass the
I would like to add to your point. I don't know if you remember, but there was this match, AC Milan versus Brescia in Brescia, and we took the lead through Rebic tapping in a goal, and Brescia was swarming at us, and Tonali was just killing us with all of these passes, like how even he was sitting deep, and Brescia was coming at us, and he was switching play, he was putting through balls into the box. I mean, that was one of his most impressive performances I saw in Brescia.
yeah.
See, it sounds like we almost need to switch to either a five-man midfield or a 4-3-3.
I think the 4-3-3 can work. I think we
Yeah.
have the players to do a 4-3-3.
I would like to add to your point, Nathan. We actually are playing a 4-3-3 hybrid 4-2-3-1, but Hakan is not functional enough to play a 4-3-3. He just has the work rate, but he does not have the offensive end product.
And speaking
That
of
was a
that,
good discussion about Tonali, but you can keep going.
speaking of that, of how we play, so I noticed whenever we played with Zlatan, we played way too much long ball up to him. That's
But
literally
it works. But
it
why
works,
not?
but that also didn't that also contribute to his injury at the end?
Maybe,
So
yeah. Maybe
I feel
you're
like
right about
if
that.
when we played the best was when we actually played passes on the ground, intricate passes.
But let me ask you something, Nathan. You know, you said you've been playing football since you were, what, 5? You said something like that, right? So you've been playing football for a long time, right? So I'm pretty sure you understand football. If essentially the goal of a football match is to score goals. The goal is
Right.
to score goals. If you can get to the goal in 1 or 2 passes, that's better than trying to get to the goal in 10 or 15 passes.
Right.
With Ibrahimovic, you can do that. So tactically, I think it was the correct thing to do.
Ibra, you just said it. With Ibra, how many people Ibra's size has Ibra's skill?
Yeah, no man.
Very few.
This is exactly what I was gonna say. Like I agree with Roy. Exactly what you said. Like if we have Ibra, let's do why not? Like why should we change the way we play if it's successful? It helps us break the defense's lines and helps us like open them up, and Ibra can just quickly lay it off to the wings. So I like that a lot. But then the problem is when he's not playing. But let's see what Giroud can do, and if it doesn't work out, we have to maybe we should change our formation when we don't have Ibra and try something new. So that's interesting.
I just
If
don't
we
like
want
the
to
long
stay
ball
on the
because
same point, I just wanted to add 2 things. Why don't we try ground passes? If you watch the last Atlanta game, which we won 2-0, I saw how we won the ball back, and we had no clue as to what to do with it. We did not want to
Wow.
pass out from the back.
That's
We were
because
passing
like we need
we
well,
to
were
that's
learn.
passing it back to Donnarumma, and Donnarumma was just hoisting the ball somewhere, and Leo lost the ball, and again they were coming back at us. We don't
Right.
have a controller, or I mean, we don't have a regista at the back in the or a deep lying playmaker. Benasser was the deep lying playmaker, but Benacer was completely out of his rhythm. I mean, if it was the old Benacer, I'm sure he would have really controlled it. Or even if we had Tonali, he could have controlled it. And one more thing, we were saying about Ibrahimovic. Ibrahimovic, I mean, we had a huge creativity issue. Hakan Çalhanoğlu was not doing his work. He was not. He was getting man marked by the opposition constantly, and he does not know how to how to lose his man. So how Pioli got rid of. I mean, how Pioli solved that issue was to have Ibrahimovic, the 40-year-old Ibrahimovic, come out of his number 9 position, come into midfield, receive the ball, and Hakan would play as a false nine. And once Ibrahimovic received the ball, he would pass it out to the wings, and the winger would put across with no tall person inside the box. I think if we are able to change this, not able to, we are going to change our number 10, then I think we will have a better option of improving our offense, like how Antonio was saying.
Well, look, they have to change anyways because Hakan is not there anymore. So the whoever is going to come, obviously, there's going to be a tactical change, no matter what. We just have to pray, guys. We have to pray that Ibrahimovic is not going to be injured for more than half of the season, because if he is going to be injured for more than half of the season, I honestly expect that unless we get important players up front, it's not going to be that easy. It's not going to be that easy, especially against the shit teams like Spezia, Salernitana. These teams are the teams where we might lose stupid points. Anyway, go ahead, Antonio.
Yeah, the last.
Go ahead.
Yeah, unless someone else wants to add on. I just wanted to say I don't like talking about Çalhanoğlu, and I'm happy that he's like. I guess after seeing his attitude after he left, I'm happy that he's gone. But personally, I think Milan played like in these past years the best like span of soccer that we played or football that we played was at the end of the 2019-20 season and the beginning of this last season. And that was when Hakan was actually like, and he got so many contributions and he was actually like playing his best with Milan. And then he dropped off so much. So I think we need to find some sort of replacement, somebody who is really, unless you want to trust Diaz, which is another discussion, but somebody who can be creative, but at the same time is more practical and just does dirty work in that position and just spreads the offense and can really manage the game there. But that's difficult to find. So we'll see.
Well, Roy, that's what we talked about in Nkunku last time.
Yeah, a player like that would be good. Yeah, a player that can open up spaces. A player with even Vlasic. I like Vlasic too, guys. Even Vlasic.
Yeah, Vlasic is good.
Yeah. All right. Let's
perfect candidate.
Yeah. So we spoke about Giroud. We spoke about Brahim Diaz. Everybody's excited about Brahim Diaz. So we have a third one. Who's the third one, Antonio?
So Fode Ballo-Touré from AS Monaco. He is confirmed, done deal, 4 million plus 500,000 bonuses if he, I think if we qualify for Champions League again. He is from Monaco. He will be the backup left back. He's actually in the Milano right now. I'm pretty sure he flew in, and he will probably sign tomorrow and be announced like probably Sunday or depending on when they want to announce him. But he is a very interesting profile. He's 24. I looked at his stats. He's not a goal scorer. I don't think the only professional goal that he scored was in like a UEFA, like a weird like UEFA youth league when he was really young. If you watch him play, he's very fast. He gets a reasonable amount of assists, like I'd say less than Hernandez, but around like 5. That's a decent.
Out of how many games?
He played like I believe 35, 38 games last season. So.
And he got 5 assists out of 35 games?
Appearances. So I don't think so he was probably shared minutes with another left back on Monaco. It's not like he's not a stellar player, so I don't know how excited I am for him, but he looks interesting, and I'm just another thing about him though, which is a bit weird and not the best, is that he gets a lot of yellow cards, like a reasonable amount of yellow cards. I noticed He's over on League One. He has 18 total yellow cards.
What?
But not in 1 year. Just like in the past, in like maybe 3 to 4
Okay, all
years.
right.
So he's very weird, but I don't know. He looks like he has skill. He can take people on one-on-one. He's good at crossing the ball, and he's like Hernandez in the sense that he cuts in and he can either go down the wing and whip in across like a diagonally back in, or he can try to dribble into like the middle towards the top of the box and create chances like that. So I think that when you watch him play, he definitely looks better than his stats. So it's interesting if you actually take a look at him. So I think he's very cheap, so good signing.
Well, if he's a player that is capable of not losing the ball in possession, he doesn't need to do assists. Theo Hernandez will take care of that. I guess he's going to be there when Theo Hernandez is not there or injured or subs. But I got to say, I have no idea who this player is. I didn't know he existed. But the same thing about Salamakers. I didn't know Salamakers existed. He came in, he impressed everybody. So why not? Why not Traore could impress us too? Dirty Marshall Horn has been talking positively about this player for a while, so I guess he knows it. Traore has green tie, and he's fast, and he likes it.
Very fast.
You guys, what do you guys think?
Generally, when I see these types of players, I automatically go to Monaco pages or pages that, say that they watched the player, and I saw a comment that really scared me, which says, and I quote, "Always terrible whenever I watch him. Even if it's only for being a backup, Milan should be able to find someone better than him." So that's kind of scary, honestly, But I trust in Maldini. I trust in Moncada. I'm sure they see something in him that obviously maybe we don't. And they've done a great job in discovering, unknown, underrated players. So he can be a good backup. Who knows?
I agree.
Let's just put our trust in him.
I definitely agree with that. They have done a good job of that.
When we were linked to Theo Hernandez initially, and the news was that he was going to agree a deal, there were a lot of Milan fans, and there were a lot of fans who were saying that Theo was good to be backup to Ricardo Rodriguez at that point of time, because they looked up his stats, and they saw his game he was on loan to Deportivo La Coruña at that time, and they were like, this guy is just a pace merchant. He has no skill, and those kind of things. And but when he came here, now we know he's one of the best left backs in the world. I mean, I think Torre is also something like that. I did a little research on him. I didn't see his game as much. He worked with Marcelo Bielsa at Lille. Marcelo Bielsa is also someone whose off the ball technique is very similar to Pioli, as in who likes to press a lot. So Toure started as a winger, and he's more of an attack minded fullback, and he has problems getting back. So even Theo Hernandez was very attack minded, and he had
Still
problems
is.
getting back. He still is. He still is. But I think he has improved immensely. That is something that Maldini himself had said, that you tactics can be drilled into a player, but the ability to win one-on-ones and the pace, the physical ability is something that a coach cannot always drill into a player. Very rarely can you improve a player's pace up beyond a level. So I think for 4 million for a backup player, I think this is a brilliant deal. I don't know why people are crying over this. I think maybe they expected Theo Hernandez's brother Lucas Hernandez to come in for 4 million. It's a brilliant deal. I mean, and the French market is a bedrock of hot talents.
No,
You don't
look,
know. Maybe tomorrow Theo Hernandez. I mean, next season Theo Hernandez goes to PSG for 70 million, and this guy replaces him. So we got a replacement for Theo Hernandez for 4 million. We have a
yeah.
huge profit in the market. It's what
I
we
mean,
all
it's
needed.
it's obvious that right now, as far as the left back position, they're not looking for they're looking for someone that understands he's going to be on the bench most of the time, because Fernandez is going to play 90% of the games this season. He's going to be in all the Champions League games. He's going to start. He's going to start in all the most important games. So this player is just going to be used maybe in Coppa Italia here and there. He's going to come and play 10 minutes, maybe 20 minutes if Fernandez gets injured, but nobody's going to take Fernandez's spot. So, it's a player that we won't even see that much. I don't think we won't even see that much.
I have 2 points. Well, first, I would disagree. I mean, Hernandez would play like you said, like a 90%. He'll play. He's usually healthy, so he'll play most of the games. I think in Coppa Italia, this guy is going to definitely have his chances, and also I would hope in some Serie A games, because we do have to rest our players. So I think we don't have Dalot, so because Man United are playing hard, are being really annoying about that. So he's our only left backup right now, so he's gonna find chances. I also wanted to say, when Liar comes back, tell him I told you so, because I remember yesterday, or a couple days ago, we were talking, and he thought that Torre was like a hoax and it wasn't gonna happen, and I told him there's like a 90% chance it's gonna happen now, and he didn't believe me. So, but yeah, and then the last thing was about, like, I think Saif said he trusts Maldini and Masada and Moncada and our scouts, and I do too, because there has to be some like sort of metric that they're measuring this guy on, like some sort of statistics that are really complicated, that aren't just on like your websites, that show you his potential. And I don't really know what that is, but when you watch him play, I recommend that if you haven't seen him, to watch him. He is interesting. Like he definitely can. His pace, he can take people on, and he does move the ball well, and he can dribble too. So he's a really interesting player, and I think it's a great deal for $4 million. So we'll see.
Nathan, you're about to say something.
Yes. So I was about to bring it up, but Skillard also mentioned it as well, and Lucas said his name. But we bought a left back who was supposed to be getting groomed into the first team, named Kirkitz. I don't know if I said it right.
Yeah.
He's from
Milos
Hungary.
Kerkesh.
Yeah.
Milos Kerkesh.
So why are we buying youth players who are supposed to be, like, if I remember from the statements, we're getting them for him to be, shipped to the first team maybe after like a year or so.
Well,
and same thing with
I don't want to sound harsh on this. Our Primavera finished 9th in the Primavera table, and because our senior side made it to the Champions League, they're going to play in the UEFA Youth League. So we're going to need all hands on deck.
Okay. Then now that brings me back to what we were saying. Like, what metric are they measuring these young players by? So we're buying these young players who we're supposed to think that they're good, and then they're not good, and this keeps happening over and over and over again. Then do our scouts actually know what they're doing?
Well, I want to say this, Nathan. I want to say this. Kerkez, according to Lucas, is 17, and that's what I was going to go to. And this is a teenager. In Serie A, teenagers is very rare. They're going to do well. You have to wait a little bit. Maybe getting Kerkez in right now is a little bit too soon. But hopefully, in 2-3 years, he can start to make his moves in the team. The only players that can come in at teenage years in Serie A are players that are going to become the best players in the world, like Donnarumma. He's 16.
But how do we know that? Because Donnarumma, the only reason why he got to play was because Lopez got injured. And, of course, once Donna stepped in, that was it.
But I think in training they see it. They see it.
Yeah, and should we take that risk, like, this year in the Champions League? Like, I mean, okay, look, if you want to bring in these players for, like, preseason, which I definitely think that they will be, they'll be in preseason, and, like in Coppa Italia, we can add them to the team, then sure, but I don't know if it's worth, like, you can't rely on a 17-year-old, like Roy said, in Serie A, especially. They have to adapt, they have to grow. And I mean, I've seen Primavera games. I've watched a good amount of the games, and Kerkez does look like he's interesting. Like when they play, he he's fast and he can dribble players, but like I wouldn't say he's ready. And also, the Primavera, they have like a little bit of talent, but like someone said that they finished 9th. They're not that impressive as like youth teams go overall, and they're not like. I don't think most of the players are not ready to make that step. So we have to.
Do we know if he's training with the first team right now?
Yeah, he is. They all train together for most of the times.
I would like to add to what Antonio said. First of all, in 2018-19, this Primavera got relegated, and this is the first season we are back in the Primavera first flight. Second thing, the UEFA Youth League started in 2013. It's a mini recreation. It's a youth league recreation of the Champions League, and I can't say it's a pattern, but whoever has played in these and done well have been successful as players. One is Tomori, Fikayo Tomori, Mason Mount, Reece James, Szoboszlai, Tammy Abraham. I even PSG has a lot of players. So the UEFA Youth League is a excellent metric to judge progress of a youth league. And the sad fact is that not even one Italian team in these 8 years of its competition has even made a semi-final or a final. The farthest I think Italian team has gone to is quarterfinals.
Embarrassing.
Year which, very embarrassing.
It's embarrassing.
The year Zaniolo played for Inter Primavera, and Roma was there once or twice in the quarterfinal. So I think there is a wholesale change needed, not only in Milan Primavera, but also for the entire Italian youth division.
Yeah, it's just embarrassing.
How old is the kid from that we got from Monaco? Or how old is he?
24. The left. He's not a kid, like the left back. You mean like the most recent one? Yeah, he's 24. So. Right, Torre, I think is his name. But
24 is the perfect age for mature players in Italy.
One thing I forgot to mention: Torre is Senegalese, and I think he will be missing the January leg of games because he has to go for AFCON.
Well, we have to see if he gets called up, because he doesn't always get called up, which is another thing that's kind of questionable. But if he does well with us, he will get called up. So that's something else. But I just wanted to so that was to talk about that point that you just made about the UEFA Youth League, because I get really frustrated when I see how in Italy we're so behind economically, and we need to just not adapted to modern football, because when you look at the Italian teams, Serie A players, you just saw the most the Euros. Italy had mostly Serie A players. They just won the Euros, and we played against a team. We played England, who they have mostly Premier League players. And I'm not saying that one league is better than the other, but the Premier League is considered to be by many people the best league. And their players don't look that much more special than Serie A players, but they have so much more finances, and it's sad to watch them dominate, because I don't think it's just disappointing to see how far behind the Serie A is, and considering the talent that it has.
But
Serie A is embarrassing.
Those teams bleed their Primavera players in far earlier than Italian teams do. And that's if you really look at like Roy, you were saying, 24 is the perfect time to step in Italy. In Spain, England, France, and Germany, those kids are 17 and 18 years old when they're already stepping into teams like even Bayern Munich.
So I looked into something, and it said that in Premier League, though, a lot of the really young players that have opportunities, it may not be always a positive thing, because the pressure that they have, the Premier League pressure that is put on these players, has actually resulted in a lot of failures for them. And then, so a lot of players young players have ended up starting at these big ambitious teams. They're not making the cut right away because they're faced with all this pressure, and they end up either leaving the country or going to a smaller team. And I think like Jadon Sancho. Not it didn't exactly happen like that, but he was with Manchester City, and he needed like basically. So he actually made a rare. He stepped away from England and went to Dortmund, obviously, and he became a great player. So it's those things happen as well. You need time, I think, but yeah, overall, we definitely need to like update our Primavera systems a lot.
Look, I think that in Italy, from what I've been seeing for such a long time, is that there are these 3 years that you can either make it or break it, between 20 and 23. If you cannot go through this bottleneck, then you're going to fail. You're going to go for ample. You're going to play in the smaller teams. But if those 3 years you can hang on, you can learn your trait. When at 24, you need to reach a certain maturity, level of maturity, tactical maturity, and technical maturity. Then you have success. And it's just like if you're young, guys. If you're 20-year-old, I mean, come on. It's been a long time since I've been 20 years old. But your brain is completely different from when you're 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, etc., etc., etc. Like in Italy, it's such a tactical game, and the defensive aspect is so important. You have to run back. You have to play for the team. You have to have discipline. In England, the game is open. It's open game. The British people, they want to see open football. They don't want to see tactical games. They want to see open football. It's easier to play open football than to play tactical football. In Spain, you need a lot of technique and you need to know how to keep the ball. But so I think that's the problem. And I think this actually hurts Italy at club. This mentality. It hurts Italy at club level. Because in Europe, you got to be able to play open football. You got to be able to go forward, no fear, and you got to be able to keep the ball on your feet.
Well, hopefully this Euros changes that old school Italian mindset, because Mancini went out and played offense the entire time, with Spain being the only team to actually force us to play defense. So I think if these teams in Italy, if they start changing things around to be, not to get rid of the defensive side, but to also promote attacking, I think that will really help out, because Italy's already going to have the best defensive attributes. So if you can just add on the attacking side, Italy will be extreme. The Italian teams will be a force once again. I mean,
it's about time to do it. Yeah,
right.
I would like to add to Nathan's point. How many defenders? I mean, for a league and a nation that has produced world-class defenders, Baresi, Maldini, Scaria, Paquetti, so many. How many defenders in Cannavaro in the upcoming generation can we say is even 1/10 of that? Is the next big thing other than Bastoni? Not even one. I can't even think of a name.
Maybe Gabbia. Maybe we'll see how he develops.
Yeah.
Lovato, maybe.
He's pretty ready.
Is Lovato Italian?
Yeah, Matteo Lovato. He played for the U21, the Italy team. So,
but yeah, the U21 usually tells you who are going to be the next stars. But the U21 sucked this year. So
yeah, I saw it's crazy because France in the U21s, they had like all these players that were worth so much because they're like Upamecano, those types of players. And they ended up they lost to the Netherlands. And that was just it was just a weird tournament. But yeah, and then
sorry, let me just answer this question. Lucas, nobody. And that's the problem. That is the problem.
But that all comes down to how we train the players. And look at the type of players, like you were saying, France and the Netherlands. Look at all those teams. Those players are all extremely fast and quick. And you combine that with intricate passing, I mean, it's going to be hard to beat that. And just by genetics, Italian players are not the fastest, so it's already going to be difficult enough.
I want to add to your point, Nathan. You asked, you were speaking about how youngsters are not afforded chances. So this trivia came to my mind. How many young Italian or even foreign strikers thrive in Italy in between the age of 20 to 25? I can only think of Vlahovic and Dybala. very. I can't even think of a name. I mean,
Yeah, right
you
now.
can see Quagliarella broke out at
Well,
36.
Lautaro Matthews.
Yeah, Lautaro, yes, Lautaro is one. Quagliarella broke out at 36. Luca Toni broke out at 35. Andre Silva flopped here.
Yeah.
So many. I mean, I mean, the Italian league is not youth friendly at all.
But
It's
you know
not.
what?
Because-
You know what's- it's also a factor that the fact that the youth teams all the way up to the senior team don't play the same system. And so when a player from the youth team goes to the senior team, let's say like our youth team played a 3-5-2, I think. We play a 4-2-3-1. That's a completely different system. So now you get to relearn that whole thing.
Guys,
Sorry. Before you go on, Antonio, I want you to keep on going
Sure.
with the transfer market stuff. Alexander, Milan is the only team. It's the only team that can bring this kind of game and then bring it to Europe. It's the only team that has this mentality. Man, these other teams like Atalanta, Sassuolo, like Lucas was saying, Roma, no, guys. Roma is a fucking embarrassment to football. So I definitely
Roy, why
disagree
do you always hate Roma so much? I feel like every time
because
people bring up
Roma, hey, listen to me. When Roma plays in Europe, I pretend I'm not Italian, okay? because it's
I
embarrassing.
agree with him on that. 7-1, 8-3. Oh,
Dude,
Seven-
it's
I
the
mean,
most
how many times
embarrassing
were
thing
they-
in the world.
how many times were they beaten 7-1? 3 or 4 times, yeah.
And then Kangu, he's a Manchester United fan. He's with us today. I mean, how many goals has this guy celebrated against Roma? I mean, forget about it. Roma's an embarrassment.
Yeah, watching that like this year, the Europa League, I was so disappointed because I saw how good Milan played against United, and then I just see Roma try and they just get absolutely destroyed. And I thought if we beat United, we could have won the whole thing definitely.
Yeah,
So that would have been cool. But
I thought so too.
and then I wanted to say that like before we move on, like these problems that we're talking about, like we said, it's not just. I mean, Milan can, by doing well in the Champions League, Milan will, help to boost the like revenue, boost the like amount of fans watching the Serie A, and changing like the game there. But this is like a national problem, so there has to be some sort of like. And Italy it's an old country. Like if you think about it, Italy is an old country. A lot of old people there, a lot of history. So and right in soccer, they're being too old, so we need to eventually modernize. I just don't really know how or when that's going to happen.
Mancini, just go do like Nathan was saying. Mancini. Let's hope that this Mancini thing can spread all over the
on an infrastructural level. I mean, I know that Mancini he did great.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, working to
But
you know, one thing like those youth players can step into the first team far easier if everything is done the same way.
Yeah, money needs to also be invested into the youth teams, like more in scouting and just many different aspects of youth football. It just needs to be improved overall. So,
you are spot on. You are spot on because I did a research on the Salzburg Academy. They won the youth league around 2 years back. They invested so much that they had computerized systems which told players the perfect nutritious diet for the players to grow. They even had a system which was used by astronauts to recover from injuries. They
What
even
country
had
is this?
something called
Salzburg, which is Austria.
Austria. They have something called soccer bot.
Maybe like 30 minutes.
Ma che stai dicendo, Lucas? They sucked.
So, soccer bot is a machine designed which helps players to grow in experience even if they're 19 or 20. It helps simulate certain I mean it even helps simulate past games. So if you made a mistake in a certain point of a game, it will help you simulate that game and you can correct your mistake. So the next time that you're going into that game, and if you get into the same situation, you will not repeat your mistakes.
Hey guys, real quick, I gotta go. It was fun.
Hey Nathan, thank you so much for joining us. Please join us again.
Yeah,
Forza Milan.
Forza Milan.
Forza Milan.
Forza Milan.
Okay, let's move on. So we spoke about Giroud, Brahim Diaz, Traoré. We spoke a little bit about the Primavera situation.
Yeah.
Keep on going. Give us more, Mr. Antonio.
Okay, so I wrote those are obviously the biggest ones, confirmed signings. The rest are not are nowhere near being substantial. But would you guys rather talk about Hernandez's links to PSG, Caio Jorge or Caio George, Luis Alberto or Felipe Coutinho? Those are all things.
Antonio, what about Warren Bondo? We were
right.
Primavera.
Yeah, I actually wrote that down. Yeah, so that we don't know that that's confirmed, but it's like on the verge of being confirmed. I don't know no news has reported that the deal is done, but they want $2 million. We offered $700,000, but I'm pretty sure they're progressing as we speak. And it's like the deal is about to be closed. He's 17. He's he looks like a holding midfielder from Nancy, which is League 2, and we don't know if they're going to play him in the Primavera or in the main team yet, but most likely Primavera. But we don't know because we don't know what the ambitions are for if Maldini sees him. I don't as a midfielder, but I don't think he's going to be our last midfield signing because I think we still need somebody we can trust more. But he's interesting. If he excels right away, he's only 17. So that would be a rare exception of a young talent excelling in Serie A, being at that age. So,
but this player, if he's 17, he's definitely not coming in for the first team. This is another player.
I also think that signing the player to the Primavera first and then putting him into the first team is better because it helps us to escape FFP because Primavera investments is not counted for FFP.
Yeah, that's a good point. I do know that this player was scouted by Manchester United and some other big teams a year or two ago. Obviously, they're to put in their academies, not on their first teams, but he is interesting. He's a really good young. He's good for his age, 17, and he's already playing in I would guess a step above. I would say League 2 is better than the Primavera system, so he's playing in a better league than what he's going into. So that'll be interesting to see. And I hope if he does excel, which it'll be a first really seeing a Primavera star or a Primavera player excel in recent years. But if he does excel, I want to see him given his opportunity to play in some first team games.
Yeah, I mean, kind of like how Kalulu was brought in, right? It'd be that kind of signing.
Well, did Kalulu ever play for the Primavera? I thought he just came from Lyon's second team, right?
He played
Kalulu was Lyon's Primavera captain, and I think both of you are correct. He was directly promoted to the senior team from Lyon's academy to our senior team. He didn't have any experience previously.
Yeah. I thought that was a great signing because it was only, I think, 500,000, right, for Kalulu, around that much.
Yes.
Yeah, and
500,000 as a training fee.
And right now he's having a great experience with the French team in the Olympics. So
and he played U21. He actually got subbed in against the Netherlands, so he had to play early on in the game. So he played in the U21s also for France.
Yeah,
looks good.
Also, I really get pissed off with all the comparisons. Caio is the next Neymar. He's the next, I don't know. How many players were dubbed as the next big thing and then they flopped? Gabriel Barbosa came to Inter Milan, he shit the bed. Gabriel Jesus was the best Neymar, was the next Neymar, and now look at him. Manchester City fans want him out. I think just less pressure, man, less pressure. He's 17. Why can't he be himself? Stop comparing him to other world-class players, He's more like Roberto Firmino than Neymar. I think the media needs to calm down, honestly.
Should we talk about him right now? Should we change?
Let's I mean, so just finishing on this Warren Bondo. If Milan get this player and they add him to the arsenal of the youth, and then we have Kerkez, we have Warren Bondo, and then we start to get all these potential superstars that in 3 or 4 years are going to be superstars. Now we're talking what I'm talking about. They start from the youth system. They come in. We spend 500K on these guys. Then they're going to be worth 40 million in 5 years. And now we have a fucking team. All right.
We are also linked to a player called Hugo Cuenca from Paraguay.
We already signed him. He's going to promote that. Yeah, we signed him. He's okay. I'm gonna be honest with you. His highlights didn't impress me. He's a midfielder. He's 16.
I did a scouting report on him. He's very similar to Paqueta, and he's very good at losing his marker. But he has his ability to shoot from long distances, and his decision making is very poor. His highlighting factor is his height. He's very tall. For somebody who is 16 years old, he's already 6 feet. So I think that's a very huge.
This guy's from Uruguay or Venezuela?
Paraguay.
Oh, Paraguay.
Yeah, that was I think it was 2 weeks ago, and we signed him. But they didn't really. It's not big enough to be announced or anything. It's just one of those. He's a small signing, so. It was kind of just it was pretty quiet, so I didn't really hear much. But they confirmed. I don't know if he's in Milano yet, but the deal is done. I don't know if he's since it's such a small deal that most news sources are not going to report it. But the deal has been confirmed. I did read that, but I'm not sure if he's signed it yet. So, but yep,
this
16.
This is good.
So yeah, we can talk about. Caio George.
Yeah, we saw his highlights the other day. He's a number 9. He's young, but to me, honestly, he doesn't look anything more special than we already have in Serie A. But you don't know how these players can develop. This is a gamble. He could come in and then become another player that just gets lost, kind of Gabriel Barbosa, or even like a Coutinho that comes, he doesn't do well, but then he becomes a superstar somewhere else, or he comes in and he does great. This is just a gamble. To me.
Yeah. From what I know, Caio George is we've heard it so many times, like the next. Everyone always says the next Brazilian star, but whatever. But it looks like he is like one of the top prospects in Brazil right now, it's good because we shouldn't really be going after people who aren't the top prospects in Brazil. So that's good. But as of news for him, there's not much about like the deal progressing. The only thing we know right now is that Milan are interested in him. And the reports are saying that like around 10 million, like probably like in the 10 to 15 million range would be enough maybe this summer if we did bid that much for him. If not, he'd be basically free in the winter. But people don't want, to wait that long to get a third striker. So there's that. And also an interesting point about him is that if we signed him, it'd be good for UEFA rules because we need, I think, a player who's out of Europe. Read for like UEFA competitions, so he would satisfy that.
And another thing about UEFA, so Milan needs 4 Italian players, right? To participate
eight Italian players. 8 Italian players.
8 Italian players.
Sorry, it's 8 homegrown players. That means they should have been in the youth system of Italy for in between the age of 17 and 19.
But nationality, does that matter?
Nationality does not matter. But 8,
I did hear that they need 4 domestic players. That's what I read.
Yeah, 4 Italian players and 4 homegrown players.
So we have Calabria, Romagnoli, who we don't know how long that's.
As of now, Calabria, Romagnoli, Caldara, Conti, Tonali, Gabia,
right.
Daniel Maldini, and Blizzari. 8.
So I did hear that isn't Blizzari going to be our third keeper this year?
Yeah, it's for this purpose. It's for the homegrown quota.
All right. Yeah, so that's interesting. That's from those players, not too many that can really be trusted yet. So, except obviously we're going to put Tonali and Calabria and Romagnoli as either a starting or backup center back, depending if Kjaer is healthy. Because I think we all agree that Kjaer Tomori is the best center back pair. And then, yeah, the rest of them are definitely not starters, but we have to see Maldini because he was injured last year, so the second half of the season.
Yeah, tomorrow, guys, we have a game. It's going to be really cool. We're going to see the youngsters. Hopefully, it's going to be a high-scoring game. We can score 12, 15 goals. And, guys, tomorrow, by the way, for who does not know, Prosesto in their starting lineup has a Maldini, Christian Maldini. So we're going to see a Maldini play against us, and hopefully we see a Maldini play for us.
Yeah, also, this should definitely be the game where we see players like Kirkesh, different other Primavera players, but also the first team guys as well. So you're going to see a mix of those, but no new signings besides, basically no new signings, very few. Just like the guys that are at Milanello training right now. So like you see Tomori Benacer, Salamakers, just other rotation players, but Ibra's still recovering. And yeah, it's gonna our attack is gonna be a bit strange, but Costi, those players, so it's gonna be a rotational team.
Thank you, Saif. He just gave us a message. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting game. Honestly, guys, what else do you have for us, Antonio? Do you have the Leao Luis Alberto thing?
Yeah, I do. So also Lucas, that's a good comment. He just commented. I guess those are the specifics. They might have been updated really recently because I didn't see it before. But yeah, if those are Nico Shira is reliable, so that looks like he will be. The deal is, I guess, confirmed. Oh, I just saw breaking news. Actually, I just opened my phone. That this isn't Milan related, but PSG are about to sign Joaquin Correa from Lazio for 18 million.
Oh yeah, someone wrote that. Man, PSG guys.
Leonardo is a total fraud, yeah. Total fraud.
Leonardo.
Total fraud sporting director. He just throws money at all of the previous players he knows. He has no scouting ability.
Exactly, yeah.
I hate that guy right now.
I could cover Luis Alberto.
Oh, guys, and this one is for Skillard because it's very important to Skillard and for the Milan population too, for the Milan universe. So one of our best players in our roster, got a huge achievement award. Best Bosnian Player of the Year goes to Krunic. Congratulations to Krunic.
Yeah. Also, so actually, Lucas, when he just commented about Bondo, I actually, it came out very recently, an article about him, so I can just catch up with that and just see what changed. Yeah, he's one step away, and it looks like the fee will be 2 million, like Lucas said. And yeah, it says could arrive in the city on Wednesday. So that's looking like a done deal. It's quote almost done. So it's basically what I was saying, but there's more precise details. And also, like I said, it'll be a 3-year deal because he's only 17, but there should be a 2-year extension option once he turns 18, so they can extend him to 5 for a 5-year deal. So that's how it's going to work, basically.
Yeah. So hey, I want to talk about this, Luis, and guys, and then we have to close. We have to close in about 12 minutes or so. I want to talk about Luis Alberto and this Leao situation. What do you guys think of this? What do you guys think about this?
So okay, there isn't much the news about this isn't really substantial yet, but Luis Alberto is in training again, and the club wanted him to make an apology for his behavior to his teammates, and also he's gonna have a conversation with Sarri about the future. So basically we do know for a fact that there was some sort of dispute with him and the club. Lazio I believe they called Milan to make sure that Milan wasn't responsible for the behavior, because I think he has stated that he would want to go to Milan, and Sarri does like Leao, so that's why there's links that Milan are willing to get rid of Leao for money.
It's so strange that Sarri likes Leao. It's so strange.
Yeah. I don't know. He plays a 4-3-3, so I'm guessing you'd want to use him as a winger.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a striker. But yeah, so Milan, I guess they're just watching the situation, but I don't think there's like as of now, there's nothing that's saying that it's gonna happen. Especially since it's looking like Lazio are trying to like fix the situation with him. But at the end of the day, I guess it's what Sadi decides. If Sadi doesn't really have a use for Alberto. And also, Lucas just commented, well, I saw the news for Correa on IFTV on Instagram, and I can get you the source for that. Also, another news about our cousins. Inter have opened talks with Cagliari to sign Nahitan Nandes on loan, the Uruguayan player. So that's an interesting.
That's a
He's
wonderful
good.
signing.
He's good.
That's a wonderful signing.
Yeah.
Right.
That's and it's a smart signing too, because he's a player that we know he's very talented because we follow the Serie A and we know who the talented players are. But this is a player that nobody knows about. He goes in a big team. This is a player that can perform in a big team.
Yeah, and then so the source for the PSG rumor was Sport Mediaset's Marco Barzaghi. So
Guys, but sorry, Rohit, what do you think about this Leao Luis Alberto's? Because Lucas thinks that we need to donate our brains if we think that we should do this. But here we have Dirty Mirtil. We have Marshall who says Rafa out, Alberto in. So we're pretty kind of divided on this. Paul says Leao is the future. What do you think?
I did speak about Luis Alberto yesterday. For me, Luis Alberto is the perfect number 10 for our system. He works hard. He's a creative player. He's 28. He's at the peak of his career. He knows Serie A well, and I'm a little bit. I've supported Rafael Leao a lot, but I feel our patience is running out on him. So if the numbers are like 40, 50 million, if the players are both valued at 40, 50 million, and we do an exchange, I think that would be very good for us. It's more of a positive for us than it is for Lazio, because we can get a huge gain on Leao's value in terms of profits, and we can get a player who's ready for us and who can perform for us. So that's my thoughts.
But what if Leao becomes a super breakout star and we miss out on him?
I had this opinion on the Locatelli situation. It's very similar to what I would like to say. We are not a club who who will keep thinking about the future. I mean, we cannot wait for a player to realize his potential. I mean, Locatelli had potential. I'm not denying that, but he was behind Montalivo and Biglia and Bakayoko, who was going to come in at that point. So we didn't have time for him to grow here, and I don't think we have time to grow. Time for Leao or Hauga or even Pobega to grow, because if we don't achieve Champions League qualification next season, again people are going to say Maldini out or Pioli out. I mean, nobody's going to say, "Oh, at least we gave Rafael Leao a chance or we gave Hauga a chance." In the end, for us as a huge fan base, results matter, not what the player achieved. So I think we need. If it is gonna happen, I would take Luis Alberto for Rafael Leao.
Yeah, I'm not too convinced about this. Like I honestly think that Leao, this is going to be his season. I think this time Milan is going to cover the right spots, so Leao doesn't have to play as a center forward, because watching Leao play as a center forward is like trying to gouge your eyes out. But this time with the right covers, Leao can stay on his left, and I'm not very happy about if we, my opinion, if we exchange Leao for Luis Alberto, this will be a big mistake, and I think we will regret it. Just like I have regretted Pessina, Locatelli, Cristante, and the list goes on forever. That's my opinion.
Well, the thing about hold on, I'm pulling up his stats right now. If I remember correctly, Luis Alberto's stats weren't anything too special. Like
Sorry,
his
sorry,
base-
sorry, sorry. Sorry, Antonio. Before you go, guys, I'm telling you, Antonio is the #1 transfer market guru of AC Milan. Okay, we know talent, and Antonio is going to be the transfer market guru of RossonARI TV. He is the Donnarumma. No, he is the Messi of transfer market news. All right, keep on going.
Thank you, Lucas. I appreciate that. Yeah, and so I was saying about Luis Alberto that I believe his stats weren't. I'm sorry, my dog is just being very annoying. But his stats, if I remember, he only scored 4 goals and he got around 9 assists this past year in Serie A. So
Who?
Luis Alberto, which aren't
Oh,
that much
okay.
better than Hakan's stats. I think they might actually be worse than Hakan's stats. So
Got you.
The season before, I mean, the 1920 season when Lazio claimed fourth, he was the highest assist in the league. And even before that,
Really?
I think,
What season
yeah,
was this?
1920, the season that Lazio was challenging for the title, and then COVID came and it stopped them that season. And then the season before that, the 18-19 season, he was injured. But the season that we spent 250 million, I think again his numbers were 11 goals and 15 assists. Again, he was top assist in the league.
I mean, I am not discussing Luis Alberto's skills. I'm not. I would rather have Luis Alberto and Leao. I'd be happy with that. I'm not ready to let go of Leao. I'm just not ready to let go of him. And I know what you're saying. Milan is not a team that waits for players, but this thing that we have done has bitten us back in the butt a bunch of times. This has to be Leao's breakout year. It has to be. It has to be.
I think maybe, I mean, just looking at flip side of my own opinion, I think maybe with a proper number 9, and if Giroud stays healthy the full
Exactly.
season, I think if with a proper number 9, if he's able to play, I think he may blossom. So we
Yeah.
don't know. I leave it to Maldini. He knows best.
Yeah, of course he does. Yeah. Eastbourne says, keep Leao and Luis Alberto as a risk. He's been a flop, and Liverpool plus Lazio would ask more than 40 million because Liverpool still has 15% selling clause on him. This is Leao. This is Leao's season. I'm assuming he said. Antonio, who's your connect, Antonio? All right, guys. So the time has arrived. The Milan Forum on Fridays is a success. I dig it. Thank you, Rohit, for joining us. Antonio, thank you so much for your information. We'll be seeing much more of you on the channel. Rohit, thank you, man. I really appreciate your contribution. Join us more often, please. So,
If
guys,
you're
we're
having
gonna.
on every Friday, I can come.
Yes, every Friday we're going to do the Milan Forum where anybody can come in and we can have discussions, we can have tussles. Now, tomorrow, unfortunately, I would love to stream the game and watch it all together, but nobody's not going to be able to do it. Yeah, unfortunately, guys, all of us are making money tomorrow, so we can't do it.
we never covered Teo PSG, but that's just rumors for now, so it's nothing too important.
Yes, yeah, we will do that. So once again, guys, thank you very much, everybody that joined us in the chat. Please remember to like, guys. We got to get those likes up. Because, as they say, the algorithm. So once again, thank you, everybody. We will see you on the next live. Arrivederci, Forza Milan. Ciao.